So welcome. Another open session with Phuntsok. And if you read in the email today, that's just as Phuntsok was about to say, but then I did interrupt, was that it's going to be a very interesting session today, where we're looking at dream yoga and how Buddhism relates to dreams and how dreams can inform and deepen our practice as lay practitioners or bodhisattvas in any way that we relate to that. Some of you may know the Tibetan Book of the Dead or different practices that use dreams. And I guess I suggested this topic just because I've been really interested in my dreams lately in life. So I just want to say also that if anybody ever has a topic or an issue that they would like Phuntsok to speak about, you can email myself or Phuntsok, and I believe we're very open to suggestions for topics. So yeah, I'll put in the chat different ways we can all donate to Phuntsok for these teachings. They're donation based, and there's a few different ways we can donate. Just in case you're new or watching this on YouTube, these teachings have been happening for a long time now. The number keeps changing, but I would say over 10 years. And, they were in person in Brooklyn for a long time, and now they're online, which makes them accessible to many people around the world, which is great. And Phuntsok draws on his 20 plus years as a Buddhist monk. So it's very informed from the lineage and the scripture, along with kind of daily, really life-based interweaving of the teachings into how we can exist. So this is moving out of our waking life into our sleeping life, which is really cool and exciting. Yeah, I think I'll just turn it over to you, Phuntsok. Thank you for taking the time to talk about this.
Thank you. Thank you very much for requesting this topic. Also, this topic is something that I became interested in, you could say, by accident. I accidentally stumbled into lucid dreaming one evening, and I became interested in that. Unfortunately for me, I read Dream Yoga way before I was supposed to read about it. You're supposed to do some preliminary practices, and then you're taught Dream Yoga. And so I have a lot of personal experiences that only later did I start to read about. So I was having experiences before I read about the Dream Yogas and what you're supposed to be doing. And some of the instructions that they give, I didn't do. And some of the instructions that they gave, I practiced. But the reason for saying this is that it is really a personal journey. Some of the techniques that are in the manuals may not work for you, but rather draw inspiration from them. Like every manual, the traditions that writes them, they of course understand, they're supposed to understand that it is mainly inspiration. It is mainly a guide. That's why those who teach are called guides. Okay, so they are guides. And sometimes some teachers don't even say anything explicitly. Sometimes they just give you hints so that your own inspiration will kick in and then guide you, because that's really where the teaching goes into. So all that is to say that I may point to specific techniques, specific understandings, but you don't have to force them upon yourselves. Take them as guides, because we all dream. So I'm not going to teach you how to dream. Okay. And there are some people, believe it or not, I think it's some sort of pathology or something. There are some people who I've met who claim, I have to say, that they go to sleep and they don't have any dreams, and they are aware that they don't have any dreams. Like they never actually go into the dream state. So it's not, you could say it's not for everyone, but there's and also like all the catchy titles that brings you here, I will disappoint you a lot. So before you get to the point and you're disappointed, you say, wait a minute, that's it? So there is, well, let's begin the way we're supposed to begin, and I'll get into the details, right? Because as usual, we don't have that much time. Okay, so welcome everyone, and I'm very, very, very happy that you're here, and I'm always very happy to share what I have learned, and also I love when people ask questions that help me understand what I thought I understood helps me to understand it much better. Okay. All right. So let's begin with meditation, which is one of the keys of the Dream Yoga. You have to be a meditator, or at least have the meditative attitude with your life in order for Dream Yoga to actually work. So let's begin with a nice meditation. Communicate to your entire being that you're about to meditate, and listen to your body, listen to your energy, listen to your mind, responding to your intention to meditate, and know that they want to cooperate. So bring awareness to the body, bring awareness to the intelligence in the body as it guides you. Or you want to meditate? Okay, have your legs like this. Have your back like this. Have your shoulders and elbows like this, and arms like this. Make sure your head and neck are like this. I'm not giving you any specifics because your body knows, it will guide you. It knows what is most perfect for you in order to be able to go as deeply as possible into the meditative state. Mouth, teeth, and tongue, just bring awareness to that and listen to the intelligence as it guides you. How should you have them? Each point, each part of the body that you bring awareness to with the intention to meditate, the advice that intelligence gives you is to facilitate the entering the meditative state. So begin to feel that you're already beginning to touch and taste the meditative state in those places, like in the legs. Once you find the posture best for you, how do you know it's best posture for you? Or it begins to connect you with calmness, with pleasantness, with clarity, with radiance, with focus. And these are occurring naturally. The back also. The shoulders, the arms, the hands, the chest, the head and neck. Find where head and neck for you is centered. Let the mouth, teeth, tongue rest in what is for you on their natural places. So there's no looseness, there's no clenching, it's just natural. And then through that natural placement, you begin to feel, you begin to contact calmness, pleasantness, a sense of knowing distinctively, a sense of knowing vividly. Let the muscles of the face rest in the natural places. And then as for your eyes, let your body, let that natural intelligence guide you. How should you have your eyes? Should they be closed? Should it be slightly opened? Should it be halfway open? Should it be fully open? The one that helps you go deeper into the signs of calm, pleasantness, clarity, radiance, focus. And there's a big arrive at the general sense of the whole body being one unit, touching each part, contributing to a holistic sense of calm, a holistic sense of pleasantness, clarity, radiance. And you arrive at a measure of confidence that, okay, this is the best that I can do at this very moment as far as the body is concerned. And you're open to further suggestions, to further amendments to help you go deeper. But right now, this is what you can consciously do at this moment. And you let that go and you go to your breath. No need to make your breath do anything specific. Just observe the breath as it is naturally taking place. As you breathe in, you know you are breathing in, you are with the in breath. As you breathe out, you know you're breathing out and you are with the out breath. And every once in a while, that intelligence in the body may connect you. Oh, by the way, there's tension here, loosen it up. So without losing awareness of the breath, gently bring the breathing to that area and just have the intention for that tension or discomfort to be addressed. And watch it melt. And as it melts, you go deeper into that general sense of clarity, deeper into that general sense of calm, pleasantness, deeper into that vividness, presentness, deeper into the mind being collected. And notice the breath responding to the deepening of these signs. In the breath also, you can recognize the signs of calming, pleasantness. There's a distinctiveness with the breath that is becoming more and more distinct, like this is really breathing. And there's a sense of this being very vivid, more and more vivid, more and more vivid, more and more present. I am aware of this is breathing as it is happening. That's luminosity and clarity. And there's a sense of the mind collecting itself, collecting itself, collecting itself. And this is something that I borrowed from my early days, Hatha yoga. So the breath is like a bridge that you are walking on. And then finally you reach the end of the bridge. Now there is meditative world in front of you, and you're about to make that conscious commitment to fully enter. You can make that commitment with just your will, with just your intention, or you can include the breath by taking a deep conscious breath. So I'll take a deep conscious breath as that commitment to fully enter. Deeply breathe in, hold for a second or two, and as you release, let yourself go into that space. Let go, let go, let go, let go, let go, let go deeper into that calm, deeper into that pleasantness. Let go deeper into the clarity. Let go deeper into the radiance. Let go. And let the breath naturally return. Don't force it to return. Don't force it to stay. And try to stay within the depth of calm and clarity and pleasantness that you reached. and acknowledge whatever percentage of new depth you reach with the calmness, whether it's in the body, whether it's in the breath, whether you're acknowledging it in the mind, whether it's the pleasantness, the vividness of experiences, the clarity of experiences, the mind collecting itself more and more. Whatever measure of depth you witness, rejoice, welcome this new depth. And if you wish to sort of be in cruise mode, where you're just naturally going deeper and deeper and deeper, to sort of initiate this cruise, you can also use the breath. This time observing 3 full breath, 3 full conscious breath. Breathing in, hold for a second or two, and completely let go in the breath, in the body, energetically, and the mind. And notice the deepening taking place, embrace it, rejoice in it, stay in the depth as you take in the next in-breath. Staying as you breathe in, staying. Notice the inner signs already occurring. If they were there before, now they're strengthening. Stay. Rejoice in the new depth. Notice the signs. Rejoice in their presence. Welcome them. Notice the inner signs, whether they are energetic, whether they are connected to some sense, one of your senses. Some people see lights, some people hear sounds, some people have certain visions, certain shapes show, certain colors show, some sort of movement sometimes in the body. Whatever the signs are for you that were not there before, are now present, consider these as signs that you've reached a new depth. Rejoice, welcome them. Don't grasp at them and don't push any of them away. And we're going to do a contemplation sort of meditation that is holding your mind on a particular theme, on a particular thought, and just observe your experiences as you hold on to this theme, to this thought. And let your mind run if it wants on that theme, on that thought, as long as it runs only on that thought. And don't worry about other things that come in. Stay with the attitude of not pushing, not rejecting, and not grasping. And the theme is, within every moment, there is infinite potential, infinite possibilities. And our, what you might call our enlightened nature, within every moment of time, within every moment, there's infinite potential to make direct contact with this enlightened potential, this enlightened nature. Don't try to imagine what it should be like, but if your imagination by itself, visions come, let them come, but don't force visions to come. And have a sense of respect, a sense of welcoming, a sense of trust. And you just hold on to that and continue to let yourself go deeper into the calm, deeper into the pleasantness, And as you witness the inner signs strengthening, let them strengthen. Let the visions become crispier and sharper. Let the sounds become louder and crispier. Let the movement become more energetic if they wish to be more energetic. And this visualization, as we are ending meditation, is practice, especially for those who find themselves along the line, either are already doing energy work or who will be doing energy work. It's especially good for you. So that give that enlightened potential a bright form in front of you at the level of your eyebrows. Feel yourself receiving radiant light from it, shower of light from it. Feel it in your forehead, like somebody holding something in front of you and you can sort of feel it. And then move that vision or that presence and that sensation from your forehead to the crown of your head. And feel yourself receiving shower of light. See it the size of a spark of light. See it descends. And even though it is the size of a tiny spark, it is radiating with the brightness of 1,000 suns. And the lights are cooling and pleasant and blissful. As watch it descends, watch it descend until that spark of light enters the very center of your heart. And it sends a burst of light throughout your body. And you experience that burst of light in your energy body, in your mind, and whatever part you consider to be parts of you. And feel that sense of readiness, for your own guide, your own innate wisdom to listen and to reveal to you what you need to know. And get ready to come out of the meditative state. So we're going to get back on the bridge. Take that nice deep breath and release. And deliberately, consciously reconnect with your immediate surroundings through your sense of hearing, your sense of touch, your sense of sight, making deliberate acknowledgement of hearing certain sounds, seeing colors, seeing shapes, seeing light, seeing shadows. And sometimes, especially if it's actually connected somewhat to this dream yoga thing, some of you are susceptible to accidentally leaving your body. So when you're coming out of meditation, it's good to begin to sort of deliberately making movements, like wiggling your toes, wiggling your fingers, and things like that. Okay, and those are it's not like universal instruction for everyone who meditates, but for those of you who know you know who you are, especially for you. Okay, to take deliberate notice of your environment so you can come back. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna, as I started to say earlier, dream yoga is a vast subject, even though I have to say it's a vast subject, but only with those who actually do the practice. The scholars are not really interested in that. Those who are scholastically minded, those who are more interested in other kinds of yoga, they don't really, that means you're not going to find that much written about dream yoga. You're going to find very sort of like general information about dream yoga. It's only when you talk to yogis who actually engage in this kind of practice, then you will start to get more insight into different kinds of techniques, different kinds of methods, and the kind of experiences that you are having, so that you will have an understanding that you're not going crazy. Okay. And because it's not, and some of these experiences that some people sort of accidentally stumble into these experiences related to dream yoga. And because of that, I don't know exactly if some people will take this as some sort of possibility of previous lives, but in some sense, it points to it, because as far as you're concerned, or these people are concerned, you didn't consciously engage in any practice where you're having experiences where it is written in some books or written in some texts, or some practitioners who are deliberately, consciously doing these practices and say, oh, that's this practice, that's this experience, okay? And also, this is to tell you that even though when you're in the, when it comes to a manual, it starts with this point and you have to read, and it goes in stages. It's very linear because it's a book. So far, I have not seen a book written in a non-linear fashion. I mean, in terms of you have to go through this word and that word and then this word. I mean, there are some authors you can sort of mimic in terms of writing this non-linear thing. But as far as reading the book is concerned, you go from this point and then you go from page 1 and you go to the last page, okay? And even though the instructions are, you know, page 1 and then last page, and then they talk about experiences along the way, it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone experiences what's on page 1 before they have experiences what's on the last page. You can have experiences on the last page even though you're just studying the meditation, you're just studying the practice. Okay, so this is just to tell you that, and it's not something to tell you, oh, this was the last page experience, I must be very advanced. Not necessarily. Okay. And this is also connected to some other kind of practice. So let me disappoint you first. Dream yoga, as far as Buddhism is concerned, is not really dream interpretation. It's not really a matter of how to interpret your dreams. It doesn't say that dreams are not to be interpreted, but it's not a manual of a dictionary of when you dream of snakes, it means this. When you dream of that, it means this, okay? It's not that way. In fact, when one person dreams of snake, it might mean this, and when another person dreams of snake, it might mean something else. That's why it cannot be this universal book, this universal dictionary of when you dream of snake, it means this, okay? So that's the disappointment. And it's not really, yes, when I began to talk about this, I began to talk about how did I get interested in dream yoga. And I have to say, like I think a lot of Westerners probably, especially if you come from a culture that seemed to place a big emphasis on the dream world. I came from a culture that placed a big emphasis on dream world. So from an early age, you could say, we were sort of trained to be aware of our dreams. So that's sort of if you come from a culture like that, then you may accidentally develop a practice where you develop dream awareness without necessarily going to some sort of formal instruction on how to do it. And because of that, you've had some of the experiences that are mentioned in the manual as to what are some of the experiences that you will experience when you make this a conscious practice. The reason that I started with dream yoga was because I was having this recurring dream. It was more like a recurring nightmare. And it started when I was very young. I was in the dream, I was riding my tricycle. That's how young I was. About 20. I was riding my tricycle. And I was always riding this tricycle like on a mountain. Maybe that's why I'm afraid of mountains, mountain tops. You know, when you're driving on the mountain and then there's the side of the road you can fall off. I cannot look in that direction. I have to look at the mountainside. Otherwise, I feel like I'm gonna fall. Or not just I'm gonna fall, but I'm actually gonna take the wheel and then move it into the. That's how freaky that kind of fear is. So anyway, almost I can't say every night, but the experience felt like it was every night because it was a recurring dream. I would be on my tricycle going up this mountain and eventually reach a certain level, and then I would fall. And right before I splat on the ground, then that's when I would wake up. And this happened many over and over again. And to the point where I became sort of like, I try to have lucidity so that I can avoid falling. But when that didn't work, or should I say, my lucidity didn't come in at the time that I wanted it to come, so I started to pray, may I not dream. May I not dream, may I not dream. And of course, the mind being as powerful as it is, for a long time, I just wasn't aware of myself dreaming anymore. Okay. But it wasn't until much later when I was consciously in the spiritual path that I come across that dream is can be beneficial on the spiritual path. So why is there a dream yoga in the first place? So the dream yoga is, like I said before, is not necessarily a psychological tool for you to find out or to interpret dreams, but rather it is a means to, the main reason for dream yoga is this: continuity of consciousness, continuity of awareness. Sleep is considered a fault in the yogic realm. Sleep in the sense of mindlessly going to sleep, and then you spend 8 hours having no idea of what you are going to be doing or what you're doing. And then you wake up. So that's considered to be like waste of time. You just wasted 8 hours of your time, where you could have spent that 8 hours to grow spiritually. And it is said that in the lower realms do beings actually sleep. In the higher realms, beings don't sleep. They don't need it. Okay? They don't need it. Now, saying that it is a fault doesn't necessarily mean that you have to stop. Don't make yourself not sleep. We need it. That's why we have it here. But it's not necessary in what you might call the higher realms. Since it is a necessity, then how do you make use of it? It's like we have to eat, but you're not going to just eat anything. You're going to eat something that's going to sustain your health. Okay, so in the same way, you have to sleep. So sleep in a way that actually helps your spiritual practice. So remember, the number one reason for sleeping practice or dream practice is continuity of consciousness, continuity of awareness. Why do you need continuity of awareness? The main reason why we are exiled from our true nature is because of distraction. Our awareness is constantly being cut into many parts. And when we are in the dream state, when we are dreaming, our continuity of awareness for most of us is completely cut. You dream you're a very rich person and you dream that you're poor and you completely believe that you're poor. You could be a very poor person, you dream that you're rich, and in that dream you completely believe that you're rich. You can be, in any state. You can be dreaming that you're a dog, and then you completely believe in that dream that that's what you are, because of the continuity of awareness has been cut. Now, so the main thing is to undo what we might call the main reason why we have been exiled from our true nature. You like it better that way, right? Exiled from our true nature. The main reason that we have exiled from our true nature is because of lack of continuity of awareness. And then that goes to lack of mindfulness, maintaining constant mindfulness. And why? And then in extension to that, from this continuity of awareness being cut, being severed, when do we experience continuity of awareness being severed? In so much you might call the ultimate severance. That's at death. So if we are unable to maintain continuity of awareness while we are still alive, through a practice that goes every night, how are we going to maintain the continuity when the big moment comes? How are we going to make ourselves, when we are dreaming, we completely believe what's happening in the dream as though it's real. We act as though That's reality. It's at night, you laid your body to bed, and all of a sudden you find yourself in the street and it's daylight, and you completely believe that it's daylight and you're in the streets. Now, when the death happens, how are you going to be able to maintain continuity to know, oh, this is an opportunity. This is the greatest opportunity available to me right now to return home, to return to my true nature. Instead, we will freak out and not be able to make use of this opportunity. Okay. So in the Bardo, so there are various in-betweens, and dream is in between that happens in life, in between waking and between deep sleep. So dream world is an in-between. You can not even call it the in-between between one day and the next day. That's the in-between. And then there's the in-between, when we will be experiencing the process of leaving this identity. We will also be in an in-between. And this in-between will be very key to determine what will be our next experience, how will we experience our existence continuingly. Okay. So dream practice, in extension, by developing continuity of awareness, continuity of consciousness, helps us in this very key, in this very existential part of our experience, which will be the process of death. So those are the big reasons why the dream yoga is that there is a practice called dream yoga. Okay, so it is mainly to address those kinds of things. And if you remember continuity of consciousness, if that's all that you can remember, and you try to, I want to maintain continuity of awareness as to what these experiences I'm going to be having, and you don't remember any of the techniques that are mentioned, that are written, visualize this, visualize that, do this, do that. If you don't remember anything, you will on your own develop your own kind of technique, how to maintain this continuity of awareness. And then you will have the experiences that are mentioned when you are sort of mastering this practice called dream yoga or sleep yoga. Okay. So that's the main thing. If you can make that the key of your practice, of your technique, then you're covered, you're set. All right. So as you are maintaining this big thing, and you have other kinds of experiences connected to that, so they become, you could say, subsidiary reasons for doing dream yoga. And one of those subsidiary reasons could be, in what interpretation can I take from this dream? Okay. So don't engage dream yoga with a very small intention of just being able to want to understand what's happening in your dream, as if just to interpret them. Okay. That would happen anyway. Okay. It's like, never mind. I was gonna give you an analogy, but it doesn't make sense when I'm thinking to actually verbalize it. You know, this happens to you. You have this idea, oh, this is big. And when you're about to verbalize it, wait a minute, it's not that big anymore. Okay, so if you're lucky, you can stop yourself before you make a fool of yourself. Okay, all right. So what are some of the subsidiary benefits, you could say, of seeking to maintain continuity of consciousness? And I mentioned one of them, but you have to understand them. They fall into three main categories as far as Tibetan Buddhism is concerned. Most of our dreams are basically the mind sort of regurgitating the experience of the day in symbolic language. Okay, so if you can seek interpretation of those to sort of understand what is what are the resources that your mind is using to create these dreams. If you want to go to analyze these, okay, and for the most part, the teachers who teach dream yoga, they're discouraged from seeking to interpret every single dream, because for the most part, it's just your life, your normal life, your regular life being played out again. Okay. The second level of dreams, they're called, that's when you are a deeper spiritual person. And I have to come back to this. I have to come back to that. Okay. So when you're going deeper into your spirituality, then you're beginning to make connection with more meaningful things. And the resources for the things that appear in your dreams and the kind of dream themes that you have, it is now using a different source. Now, these interpretations, you might need to know the interpretation of these things, but how do you know whether it's just your life regurgitating itself in your dreams, or whether it is something that is meaningful, that has a message for you, that is important for you for your spiritual path? The what you call that? The determining factor, one of the determining factors as to which dream you need to interpret is when during your sleep cycle did the dream occur. If the dream occurred right before you woke up, usually it is said that has more significance, okay, for your spiritual path, for your spiritual world. Now, again, doesn't mean that it only happens at those times, but for generally speaking, the dreams that occur before you wake up are usually the dreams that are meaningful as far as your spiritual life is concerned. And how do you know what meaning to give them? Remember, these are being drawn from the vocabulary of your own mind, the wealth of vocabulary of your own mind, if wealth of symbolic vocabulary, because of how you were raised, because of how ideas that you have. These symbols may mean something different for you than it might mean for someone else. So the very first person to go to interpret the dreams is yourself. What does it mean to you? And almost have like a free flow kind of interpretation. Just remember the dream and then seek to understand what meaning it has and let your mind free flow. Okay. If you are spending too much time trying to come up with a meaning, let it go. As soon as you have that intention to understand if there is some sort of meaning, some sort of meaning that is necessary for you, other than just, your mind just replaying the day, then it usually will come with a sense of authority. It means this. And of course, in the beginning, the meaning that you give to it will not necessarily be a meaning that was intended for it to have. Okay. And then this will become with practice. So accept that, and maybe you may change your mind later as to the meaning of it. Okay. So be open to the meaning being different later on. Okay, so you may spend some time remembering the dream and then trying to give interpretation. What could it mean? What could it mean? And you don't come up with anything, or you come up with a bunch of fantastical things and you let it go. And during the day, without you even thinking about the dreams, oh, that's what that meant. Okay, so that exercise is to initiate that sort of eureka moment. Okay, now that's for dream interpretation. Now, there are some specific dreams specific kinds of dreams that you will have depending on certain kind of practices that you're doing. For someone who's on in a retreat, for example, if you're doing one specific practice over and over and over every day for a certain period of time, that will eventually leak into your dream, where you will have dreams concerning the practice. At first, it doesn't really have meaning in a sense of, oh, congratulations, you're making incredible progress. Okay, don't take that interpretation, but just have the understanding that, it's just because I've been doing this for so long that it's starting to leak into the dream world. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean that now there's some meaning, some great significance to what you're dreaming. If you are visualizing, for example, over and over again that you're seeing some enlightened being and then they're giving you blessings, you may all of a sudden have a dream where enlightened being comes and gives you blessings. It doesn't mean that some enlightened beings came and gave you blessings. That's just regurgitating what you've been doing all day. But this is just a better thing to regurgitate. Okay. All right, now let's get into the juicy stuff. Okay. Dream, you need to have sort of these aims in mind. So remember, all that is about continuity of consciousness, and how will you be able to how will you experience this continuity of awareness, and what are the things that will help you achieve the continuity of awareness? At first, there are practices that you need to do during the day. When you want to make dream yoga a part of a conscious thing that you're doing, you have to incorporate it in the day, in your waking life. And there are things you're supposed to be doing as you fall asleep, and there are things that you're supposed to be doing as soon as you wake up. As a matter of fact, if you find yourself waking up in the middle of the night, you're supposed to immediately try to connect that to the dream practice, to the dream yoga practice. Okay, so there are things you're supposed to be doing in the day, there are things you're supposed to be doing right before you fall asleep, and there are things you do in the middle of the night if you wake up. And then when you wake up from sleep, there are things you're supposed to be doing immediately. Okay, there are physical things to do, mental things to do, emotional things to do. Okay. Here is the most powerful, by most powerful, you know what? You know what I mean when I say most powerful, right? It's something that will work, that may work for you. If it works for you, that's the most powerful. If it doesn't work for you, then it's not most powerful. Okay. And I'm using my favorite yogi, Master Sahara. He's my favorite yogi. Master Sahara has this attitude toward practice, where the main theme of his sort of attitude is just will it. And where he says, you want to wake up your kundalini, you want to wake up the tumo, will it. Stop doing these acrobatic things with your breath and this visualization, this and that. Just will it. But unfortunately, we're not at the level of Master Sahara, who spent many of years doing those acrobatic things and then finally arriving where his will is possible to just will it. Okay, so But the thing is, begin that way. Begin with willing it. As you fall asleep, will to have continuity of awareness. Don't be disappointed for the first few nights. Okay, for the first few months, I don't want to discourage you. For the first few months where nothing happens, you go into unconsciousness and you wake up the next morning, I fell asleep. And I have no awareness of what happened in between. That's going to happen. But as you continue that will, then you do the other exercises, but bring this to the forefront. Okay, will to have continuity of awareness, and you can phrase it in a kind of wish or prayer, like, may I have continuity of awareness. May I be aware of what's happening as I fall asleep. May I be aware of the dream. May I be, make it like, repeat it to your mind as you fall asleep. So that becomes your, like, almost like your, I'm not going to use it. I was going to say your mantra. No, you're not going to use the word mantra here to mean that. Okay. We're not going to have it give mantra that definition, that new age definition. Okay. But that's going to be the thing you're going to be repeating as you fall asleep, but basically strengthening your will. Your will, let me put it this way. Have an extreme, intense curiosity. What happens as I fall asleep? What happens when I am sleeping? Have that intense curiosity, okay? And the reason I'm mentioning this is because that's what actually worked for me the first time. The visualization practice, you could say, for the most part of my earlier training, I was visually blind. I mean, visualization blind. You understand what I mean? Some of you probably understand what I mean, and some of you have no idea what that means. But for those of you who cannot understand, let me try to explain to you what it means for us people who have visualization blindness. Some people will say, visualize this and that. I say, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. What else? And it's like that. It's easy for them. And I think they're actually seeing in the mind's eye, the way they say, see in your mind's eye. They see the colors, they see the shape, they have all these kinds of things. When I try to visualize, what do I see? What do you see when you immediately close your eyes? That's what I see for the entire time. Nothing appears in this mind eye. So this mind eye is completely blind. It can't see anything. So when I'm given a visualization, I was given a visualization practice to help me with continuity of awareness. I was basically looking at darkness in my mind. I was not able to see anything. Okay. So that's probably why I was so determined. I just want to know what's going on. This visualization thing is not working for me. What happens as I fall asleep? I just held that intensely, and I began to have experiences that yogis begin to say, oh yeah, that's this stage, or that's that stage, that's this stage, and that stage. Okay. So that's why I will mention this first. Will yourself, have intense curiosity to simply know what goes on as you fall asleep. This happens, it's been happening for you all your life. Every night you fall asleep. What is happening? What is happening to your body? What is happening to your mind? What is happening to you energetically? Okay. Now, if that itself is not enough, then you need to, then the other things will help, especially during the day. And this is very simple. Just ask yourself, am I dreaming now? And then when you ask yourself that question, don't ask, am I dreaming right now? What do you say? Ask that question as though you're all of a sudden not sure if you're dreaming or not. Have that attitude. This could be a dream, right? Am I dreaming? And how do you know whether it's whether it's a dream, whether it's not a dream? How do you know? Of course, yogis who do dream yoga, they tell you, yeah, there's a way to know. And it has to do with that continuity. Remember, there you are on your bed, and all of a sudden you're outside. When did I get up from bed? When did I walk off? When did I change clothes into this? This must be a dream. So just holding on to this question throughout the day. And then there are other things you can do throughout the day also, but that's the main thing. And the other kinds of suggestions that are given that you do throughout the day are more philosophical kind of things that sometimes work for some people, and for most people, it doesn't really work. Life is like a dream. This is the illusory nature of life. For some people, that may work. I'm not making fun of you people, but that doesn't work for me. Philosophizing about my experience doesn't help that much, okay? But, and of course, eventually, you want to get to eventually, when your dream becomes a wisdom practice, you will be able to not see a difference between dream and wake. Like they share the same nature. Okay. All right, that's the wisdom part. Okay, let's forget about that. Let's get, okay. So during the day, whenever you can, is this a dream? And you're asking that question in a very serious way. And try to prove to yourself that it is not a dream, or that it is not a dream. So this attitude, remember, what happens in dreams? We just repeat what we do throughout the day. So if you spend the day mindlessly, not having mindfulness, we're going to have mindless dreams, mindless sleep. Okay. And that's why when you're a meditator, lucidity in dreams comes naturally, without even trying to develop lucidity in dreams. Because you're maintaining mindfulness, not just when you're meditating, but you take that mindfulness with you when you're engaging your daily life. Okay, I have to hurry up because time is running. Okay, you need to establish lucidity, that is aware that you are dreaming when you're dreaming. That's the first stage you want to establish in the dream state. And how do you establish that? With those things that you do in the beginning, during the day, and have this intention. And that's where it's really a matter of will, really, to be aware that you're dreaming while you are dreaming. And if the will doesn't work, okay, here's the thing that they say: visualize the letter, or this is syllable, not letter. Okay, visualize the syllable ah. Now, should you see it in Sanskrit? Should you see it in Roman? Should you see it in Tibetan? The thing is, whichever can make you draw your attention to it. If the Roman letter A is just not sexy enough to grab your attention, grab the Sanskrit one. If the Sanskrit one doesn't work, grab the Tibetan one. If none of these work, whatever works, okay? The thing is, it must be something that is able to grab your attention. And you visualize it having the color red, and you visualize it in your throat. And the reason why, when energy is brought to this center, it allows for continuity of awareness into the dream world. Okay, that's the mechanics of it. So why is it really the letter? Is there some special thing with the letter, the syllable ah, that does it? No. The thing is, you're being told, bring energy to your throat. and hold the energy there. Since you can't really, what are you talking about? What is energy anyway in the first place? How am I going to bring it to my throat? But by visualizing that there is something brilliant and shining in your throat, that will help bring the energy there. But if you're one of those lucky people, you know, I'm jealous of you, people who just naturally feel energy. You can just say, oh, yeah, I'm moving it. Just people, don't get on your nerve. I'm moving the energy to my throat now, okay? What do I do next? So if you're one of those people who has, because of your practice in your past lives that have now leaked into this life, because you are such a powerful yogi, it just naturally comes to you. You can sense energy, you can direct it. You just have no idea what it is, what you're doing. Now you've been giving vocabulary for what you've been doing all your life. So bring energy to your throat. How to bring energy to your throat? Visualize that there is something in your throat. Something like what? Like the syllable ah. And visualize it red. Okay? Okay. And why red? Well, yeah, it has to be red. You can't choose your own color. Well, you can choose your own color if you want to, but it will help bring energy there. But there's a reason why you're asked to see it red. Okay. And that's for later when we will not be able to get to. So if you're able to visualize this and stay focused on it, that will help with continuity of awareness so that you're able to maintain continuity so that when you get into the dream world, you're aware that, I am dreaming. And there may be a moment where you sort of like lose awareness. And usually in the beginning, losing awareness is not like you're unconscious. You just, your mind gets distracted into something else. You're trying to visualize this thing in your throat, trying to visualize it. And then, oh, what was I supposed to do for work today? And then your mind goes there and you completely lose yourself and you fall asleep. I was supposed to visualize it. I forgot. Okay. But later, this gap that happens as you're visualizing, as you're maintaining your will shorten, where you will eventually awaken. You are dreaming and you will know, I am dreaming. So you've accomplished the first level. And as soon as you become aware, for the beginners, this is what's going to happen, okay? As soon as you become aware that you are dreaming, it will wake you up. Just know that's what happens. And with practice, you're able to continue to dream while you are aware that you're dreaming. And very strange things will start to happen. Don't immediately try to interpret what's going on as you're witnessing it. Just be a witness to it. As soon as you start to try to interpret it at your early level, what is that you're doing with your mind? You're simply moving energy around, and then the energy is going to slap you in the face, and you're going to find yourself mindlessly dreaming some other dream, or you will wake up. And this is something that will happen to you. Don't be discouraged. You will find yourself not able to fall asleep. That happens. Don't think there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just part of the experience. You will find yourself in the beginning trying to be aware, trying to catch yourself falling asleep. You find yourself not able to fall asleep. And the only way for you to fall asleep is to forget. I mean, stop. Let me forget about this. And you fall asleep. Continue. Eventually, you will be tired and sleep will come. Okay? Don't worry about catching yourself not being able to fall asleep. Okay, this is preliminary stuff. All right. Before dream actually takes place, oh my God, so much to talk about. I didn't know I was going to be talking so much. So the first thing, you're going to try to achieve lucidity. And these are the experiences. First measure of lucidity, just the lucidity itself makes you wake up. And you're able to, with time, you're able to stay with the lucidity. you will find yourself wanting to interpret, wanting to change things, and you're not able to change things. Okay. Now, with familiarity, with stability, being able to stabilize your awareness in the dream without waking yourself up, you know you're dreaming, and the dream continues to take place, and your awareness of it, it doesn't make the dream stop. That's mastering the first level of lucidity. The next level of lucidity is being able to begin to either stop the dream or change the dream. And when you're starting to do that, you will find yourself not able to do it. And in fact, just like before, it woke you up when you tried to change the natural order of the dream. Trying to change the dream will wake you up. So it's just a matter of establishing stability with that. And eventually you will begin to dream, you are aware of the dream, and you will say, wait a minute, this is an opportunity for me to practice. If you have a practice that you're doing, you can do the practice in the dream. Now, what to do when you have achieved lucidity, and what do you do when you have achieved the capacity to change the dream? A couple of things you can do. First thing that you really want to do is to practice, do your practice in the dream. Because your mind is so subtle at the dream state, you will be able to do your practice much more powerfully. You're actually using an already subtle mind. Okay? And for those of you who like adventure, you can visit other places. And that one now has sub-practices in it. There's something called a dream body. There are two kinds of dream bodies. An actual dream body, by actual I mean a body that can be experienced separate from your physical body. That's where I'm sure you've heard of this practice before, astral projection. So that's where this astral projection practice comes in. Okay. Don't make that. I know the person I consider to be my master, my true master of teaching me about dream yoga, I call him a dream yoga master. Dream for him was a way to escape reality. And he mastered the dream state where he can manipulate things, go wherever he wants. And it became a place for him to travel and to encounter different kinds of beings. But don't forget that you bring your back with you in that realm. Actually, it's not funny, but I have to say I have to make it sound like it's funny so that you don't get scared. You may, when you're at that level, encounter outside entities. By outside entities, I mean entities that can actually enter your dream. Okay? Don't worry about that in the beginning, okay? And, there are some that are benevolent, and there are some that are not benevolent. That is when you've mastered dream manipulation, okay? You can use that to visit places, and there are different ways of visiting places. And this is for those of you who have some understanding of dream realm, you will have some understanding. But the dream realm, you can. So remember I said there are two kinds of dream bodies. One dream body is simply the body that you see yourself in, if you see yourself in a body while you're dreaming. Do you ever take notice to see, do you have a body while you're dreaming? That's something that you can ask yourself. And don't freak out when you're beginning to have lucidity and you ask yourself that question, where's my body? And you look and you don't see a body. Don't freak out. Okay. You're just not stable enough. Okay. And eventually you will see a body. You will feel a body. You will see it. Okay. That's what you can call more like a dream body. There's another kind of dream body that you develop. And that dream body, you can actually leave your physical place and go to other physical places. That's what one of the objectives, you could say, of astral projection. And I think they call it the astral body or something like that, okay? And that is related to a much more profound practice. So all these things are related, okay, to some profound practice, eventually returning home to your true nature. Okay, all this is the journey to returning there. Don't get stuck there, especially when you have mastering being able to change the content of your dream. You might get stuck there where you look forward to go to sleep so you can create some kind of reality that you enjoy. And then you completely miss the opportunity this very ability is giving you. Remember, this is connecting to that wisdom thing, how things are malleable. So you're proving it to yourself in the dream that reality is malleable. Reality is not fixed. Okay. And why did I mention the dream body part? Not even though it's on page 5 or page 11 of the manual, you may begin to experience it on page 1 of your practice. Why am I telling you this? Don't freak out, because the first time you will experience it, it will freak you out. It freaked me out. It was very funny as far as the dream world was concerned. I'm dead. I died. I yogied myself to death. And this is just, no, it's not some big stuff. So where you actually see yourself, feel yourself, leave your body. See yourself, feel yourself, leave your body, and turn around and you're looking at your body sleeping on the bed. Okay. Don't freak out. Don't think you died. Don't think meditation killed you. Okay. And not freaking out will allow you, if you find yourself freaking out because for some reason there's some hidden fears within you that you didn't even know about. I didn't even know I was going to freak out, but here I am freaking out. So just sleep. Okay. Instead of looking at my body, I left my body. Instead of doing that, just, I'm going to sleep. And then everything will be taken care of. So you have the aim is to first gain lucidity, and how to gain lucidity with the will, with the visualization. And perhaps with just holding on to that will, you may find yourself coming up with a different technique. Like one thing that helped me was a real mantra, okay? Reciting a real mantra. Remember, the thing is continuity. And of course, in the beginning, I would fall asleep, completely forget I was reciting a mantra. I missed it. In the process of falling asleep is very, very important. Oh my goodness, I'm running over time. The process itself of falling asleep is the same process of dying. So when you familiarize yourself with that process, when dying comes up, it will come up. You will only be familiar with it, and you will not freak out. You will immediately, because of habit, see it as an opportunity for doing the most powerful practice ever. Yes, at that moment, there's no doubt about it. It's an opportunity for you to do the most powerful practice ever. If you didn't fulfill what you sought to fulfill while you were before that time, okay? But you will be able to make use of that if you familiarize yourself with sleeping. What's happening to me as I fall asleep? You will witness the elements being withdrawn. You will witness different types of consciousnesses awakening. And the red one is associated with the in-between. That's why you visualize the letter R in red. It is to make that connection with that subtle consciousness. Okay? It's a very powerful consciousness. So as you are experiencing these things, they are given in order. First there's this, first there's that, first that. In actual experience, you might experience the red before the blue before the white before the water before the earth. You might experience them in all different kinds of order. It means that's when you are able to maintain continuity. And each of them have their own sort of sub-levels within them. There's the white of the red, there's the blue of the red, that's much later, okay? So you could be in the blue of the red, not necessarily the blue of the blue, okay? And you may experience the water before the earth. You may experience the air before even the earth, even though they're given in those order. So don't worry about those kinds of order. Okay, the thing is, once you are aware of them, congratulate yourself. Ah, I was able to catch that moment. As you're falling asleep, it happens every single night. It happens every single night you fall asleep. And if you're able to catch them, you're becoming familiar with that big moment. So when it comes, you're ready for it. Okay. There are some other practices to do during the day. There's one practice that is called staring in a mirror, staring into your eyes in a mirror. So you have the sense of witnessing an image that you know is not real, but appears to be real. And the different things to do, and also to maintain the objectivity so that you don't get caught up in what's happening in the dream. One thing you can do is, if you have a partner, exchange two kinds of things. Exchange blame and criticism and praise. So have your partner, tell you all kinds of criticisms, and you just to stay there and then tell yourself it's just a dream. It's not real. And then you say to that person, and you're not attached to what you're saying. And someone tells you, oh, you're wonderful, you're beautiful, and you listen and you're not attached to it. Okay? For some people, that might be too much of a practice to do, but it will help with the maintaining objectivity when you're beginning to experience the lucidity, so that you're very awareness of that you are dreaming will not disturb the energy flow of dreaming state. Okay. So those are these different practices. There's so many other things. One last experience that I want to mention. As you are observing yourself going through the phases as you fall asleep, there will be some of you, especially those of you who are sensitive to energy, you will become aware of your energy body. And it might be experienced in a way that's weird. And I have to say weird because of that, oh, he said it would be weird. So it's like, so you don't freak out like I freaked out when I was falling from the cliff in my dream, and I made myself no longer detach myself from being able to be aware of my dreams. So you don't do that kind of stuff. Okay. So you understand it's natural for this to happen. Okay. You may feel your energy body buzzing, and it feels as if your physical body is buzzing. And you think you're having some sort of shaking experience. Okay. But it's just the energy body that you're just becoming aware of the energy body, and you're beginning to stabilize yourself in the energy body. Okay? Because you have to go through that to get to the dream level, to the dream state. Okay. Oh man. I have to mention this one. Sorry. The physical posture you take for sleep, what is recommended is called the lion posture. And I have to say it because that's what they say. And from my own experience, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I find that there's a particular posture that I take that helps me with gaining continuity of awareness that goes into deep lucidity. And the thing is, experiment to see which one works. But first, try that lion posture. And if it works for you, it works for you. It doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. And there's so many different ways, do a Vulcan mind meld. Those of you who understand what I just said, you understand what I said. Those of you who don't understand, I'm sorry, you have to watch Star Trek. And the reason I have to say that, I'm not saying those things don't work. I'm saying they didn't work for me. Sleeping like this, it wasn't really like that. But it felt like I was sleeping like that. It might work for you, okay? But it didn't work for me. Okay, so find the posture that works for you, that gives you the experience, energetic experience, continuity of experience, and then maintaining, stabilizing lucidity. One of the things that this is the last thing. One of the things that you might try once you establish stability in lucidity, try to fly. I'm not saying if you find yourself already dreaming that you're flying, you're flying. No, I'm talking about deliberately make the conscious decision in your dream, I'm going to fly. And you will come up with all different ways that convinces you that, that's how you fly. And you're going to try to do that in your waking dream. Of course, it's not going to work. Maybe later on it might work, but not now. Okay. So try to fly. It's a way of keeping the dream continuous and vivid and lucid because you're doing something incredible. Okay. If flying is not incredible for you, well, whatever is incredible for you. All right. Sorry. Sort of like I try to give you the techniques, my experiences, some of the experiences that you may have, and what's the aim of it. But as I said in the beginning, this is a vast world. We can go deeper into it. And one of the things that I didn't mention, that I didn't go into, is what I sort of like hinted at, being visited. Okay. And you might develop some psychic abilities as a byproduct of doing dream yoga. Okay. And I'll leave it at that. Okay. So it's really past the time. Sorry about that. But I hope that what I talked about is practical enough for you to begin to practice. Oh, I forgot. Have a dream journal. As soon as you wake up, try to remember your dream. That will help. And then write it down, whatever you remember. There was a horse. That's what I remember. Write that down. There was a horse. Okay. And that will help. All right. I don't know. Maybe one question if somebody has a question. If nobody has a question, then we'll close.
Just jump in if you have a question. I have like so many.
Hello, my name is Nova. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
I had so the reason why I'm in this is to Anais and Mojo. They introduced me to this class. And I told them about this experience where I accidentally was about to leave my body 2 times and I heard voices both times. And I didn't go with the voices. Every time that I heard it, I was just like, oh wait, I didn't prepare myself to astral project.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you hear those voices, like what should I talk to them? Should I go with them? Should I not go with them?
First of all, emotionally, how do you feel about them? What is your emotional feeling when you hear the voices? Is it neutral? Is it it's inviting? What's the emotional feeling?
I wouldn't say they're necessarily inviting, but they don't seem malicious either.
Okay. All right. Okay. This requires a completely different kind of a class for a particular kind of experience. I would say for people like you or like that, who are already beginning to make those kinds of traveling. So when you enter the dream world, your senses, what you call it? What's that word? Magnify, not magnify, become more and more sensitive. You're able to see, hear things that with your normal eyes, with your normal senses that you're not able to pick up. Okay. If you need to, call on your protector first. When you're having these kinds of experiences, when you're having seems like visitations, before you engage with those visitations, call on your protector and let your protector guide you whether or not you should engage those visitations or not. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you're already having those experiences, you already have a protector. Okay.
Good evening, Phuntsok. I have a question. So,
yes.
How is this different than daydreaming?
Daydreaming is more like it's kind of like a lucid dreaming. When you say daydreaming, you're not talking about you have a nap during the day and then you start to dream, but when you're consciously creating images and things like that. Yeah. That daydreaming is more visualization. Is more the practice of visualization. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, and if there's a lot of demand, maybe we could do a part 2 as well, Phuntsok, depending.
Oh yeah, the juicier parts. Okay. Right. So we're going to do a closing meditation. Since the meditation session we had was not too long ago, just remind yourself of how it felt. Remember how it felt in your body. Just try to remember. And as you beginning to recall, allow yourself to re-experience it in the body. How was it in your breath? And as you're recalling, allow your breath to re-experience it. How was it in your mind? and do the same. Allow your mind to re-experience it. Don't force it. Don't say that's what you're supposed to experience, but rather just let it naturally happen. And you begin to have an experience, what you might call, I am tasting the meditative state again. So that's a quick way of getting back to meditation. While you're tasting it, make that will to stay there and to go deeper. And you can include the breath, a deep breath to help. And as you witness the signs, welcome them, rejoice in the body, in the breath, in the mind, energetically, emotionally. And begin to think of your different parts of your body, even though left hand is left, right hand is right, and different from feet, different from different parts, and yet it's just me. When the foot is in need of something, the hand doesn't ask. The foot doesn't need to beg the hand to come help. The hand goes to help because the hand thinks I'm helping myself. So have that understanding of the complexity that is you, that you say us. And now see all of us sitting together in a circle and extend that sense of us that you felt for your body, your mind together to this circle. In the same way your right hand was ready to help your feet with the sense of knowing I'm helping myself, have that attitude towards each other, ready to help the other and not just helping another, but helping myself. And because of this beautiful attitude that we are holding, this beautiful bright presence appears in the center of our circle. It's like the embodiment of that sense of usness taking form to strengthen that sense of usness. And it glows brighter and brighter. And as it glows brighter and brighter, there's a light connecting each of our hearts to that bright presence. And it begins to expand, getting brighter, engulfing, infusing, and then melting us into its brightness until there's no longer the appearance of our differences, but just this us. And it continues to expand until it covers everyone in your home, everyone in your neighborhood, every life, and let it go as far as you can. The entire planet, the entire solar system, the entire universe, whatever can feel real to you. It's all engulfed in that brightness. And that attitude you had with your hand for your feet, you feel it for every life. Towards the mountains, towards the sky, towards the rivers, towards the plants, the different animals, the fly that crawl, that you feel us. Now that the sense of usness is well planted in our minds and our hearts, we don't need this visual symbol to help us. And as a sign that we don't need this visual symbol, the bright light begins to shrink again. And as it shrinks, it leaves a sheen of light on the things that it absorbed into itself until it comes back again to the very center of our circle. And we are shining. There's this luster of light coming from each one of us. And the light now dissolves into each one of us, into this ray of light that connected us. And we have this conviction now, when I sincerely, truly help myself, I am helping us. And when I'm sincerely, truly helping us, I am also at the same time helping myself. and be aware of the bright light that entered your heart in the beginning of the meditation, that your own innate wisdom. Give thanks to whatever understanding you were able to gain tonight, and open yourself to understanding even more. And knowing that during this session, we also collected positive spiritual energy because our minds were collectively directed in that direction. And we can direct this collected spiritual energy towards fulfilling some sort of concern that we have, whatever sincere concern you have, whether it's just for yourself, whether it's for someone you know, a community, a person, an event, a place. Dedicate that this energy address that concern. Kyawadi kyawakan Sanam yeshe zongzok shin Sanam yeshe lechong Tamba kunye dobara sho. And get ready to come out of the meditation. Make that intention that you're going to come out. Notice that you are in meditation. Notice the signs. Rejoice. And either with just your will or just your intention, or with the will, with the deep breath. Now, deliberately, consciously reconnect with your immediate surroundings. Deliberately be aware of what your sense of touch is aware of. Be aware of what your hearing is aware of. Be aware of your sense of sight, noticing colors, deliberately shapes, lights, and shadows. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.
I love you, Phuntsok.
I love you too. Thank you.